Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Gashi Skyman TV. Tifa gave the results of its opinion poll yesterday, and William Samoei Ruto must be awarded person. He was given a red card. 75% of Kenyans strongly believe that the country is headed in the wrong direction. A number of Kenyans also believe that William Samoei Ruto is a one-term president. Raila Amolo Odinga was no better, though a number of Kenyans, about 28%, strongly believe that in the fullness of time, Raila is going to abandon William Samoei Ruto and vie for the presidency. A number of Kenyans did not show trust either to Raila Amolo Odinga. In this video, I want us to look at the opposition. I will start by asking you a simple question. According to you, if elections were held today, would you vote for an opposition candidate? Or would you vote for William Samoei Ruto? The second question that I would ask you, according to you, is opposition headed in the right direction? If you ask me, the answer is yes. Opposition has managed to bring hope to this country. I want to show you how the opposition has actually tried to keep William Samoei Ruto on his toes. Because if you ask me, the work of the opposition is to keep the government on its toes. The work of the opposition is to provide an alternative leadership, is to give people an alternative government. Opposition is government in waiting. And the opposition is headed in the right direction, because if you look at William Samoei Ruto's government, the government is not breathing. If you look at the government is seeing the opposition as the greatest threat. They have managed to convince Kenyans that William Samoei Ruto is a one-term president. If you look at the comment sections in any channel, be it Citizen TV, KTN, Inoro, Mulebe, Chamgei, wherever, you realize Kenyans, even sometimes they do not understand the debate that is going on, but they end up writing one term, one term, one term. Songs have been composed about one term. Beer has been manufactured and labeled one term. And many other drinks, joints have also been named one term. So the weed of one term is something that the opposition has run away with, and it is scaring the government. So if you ask me, they are headed in the right direction, because I believe even when people go to the ballot, when they enter that voting booth, I can tell you there will be riot in the booth, and there will be revolution in the booth, and William Samoei Ruto will be made one term. So to that extent, they are headed in the right direction. To that extent, they have managed to keep the government on its toes. Number two, about the opposition. The opposition has managed to zero in on two presidential candidates, Fred Okengo Matiang'i and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. In fact, Kenyans are torn between Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka and Fred Matiang'i. This depends on the region. But majority of Kenyans believe that Matiang'i should carry the flag, and Kalonzo should also be in the government and play a key role. And I want to ask you a question, because as we approach the elections, Kenyans are coming together and they are falling short of saying who is the presidential candidate. And I want to ask you a simple question. If you are told to decide between Matiang'i and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, whom would you choose as the opposition candidate? Because this is where the opposition is. Is it Kalonzo? Is it Stephen Kalonzo, Fred Okengo Matiang'i? And many Kenyans are ready to vote for anybody. If you ask me, most of my friends strongly believe it is Kalonzo. If it is Kalonzo, they'll vote for Kalonzo in the morning. If it is Matiang'i, the same thing. So to this extent, they have managed to come together and remain united and actually zeroed in on two presidential candidates. There is no one candidate that scares William Samoei Ruto than these two leaders, that is Kalonzo and Matiang'i. Number 3 is that they have also managed to bring Natembeya. Natembeya is a force to reckon with. Natembeya has run away with the Mulebe Nation. The opposition has managed to snatch the Mulebe Nation from William Samoei Ruto's grip. The opposition has managed to aid the career of two leaders from the Western. One, Musalia Mudavadi career is actually on its deathbed. The same case applies to the Speaker of the National Assembly, one Wetangula, Moses Masika Wetangula. And Mulebe Nation is now solidly behind George Natembeya. This is great news to the opposition. And when you look at it, even Raila Amolo Odinga has lost the Western Nation. He has lost the Mulebe Nation. So when you look at the opposition, when you bring now the Gema Nation, the Kaba Nation, and the Mulebe Nation, those three regions are capable of sending William Samoei Ruto packing. So opposition is headed in the right direction as long now as they agree on these two gentlemen, because they are not going to ignore the Mulebe Nation. Mulebe Nation is either going to have a presidential candidate or the running mate, nothing else. And as far as I'm concerned, they have managed to defeat William Samoei Ruto in the morning, and Raila Amolo Odinga cannot claim to control the Mulebe Nation. Something else is that the opposition has managed to set the agenda, the national agenda. Every day, kila mtu anazungumzia Rigathi Gachagua. Remember, the National Assembly and the Senate can manage to suspend business to discuss an individual, the former deputy president, one Rigathi Gachagua. He's setting the agenda. Gachagua, anytime he takes the microphone, watu wa Ruto wanaenda chini ya meza. They run to the rat holes. Yeah, wanaingia mashimo. Anytime Rigathi takes the microphone, anytime Rigathi Gachagua holds a press conference, the government comes to a standstill. He sets the agenda. And this is the same parliament that could not suspend business to discuss the abductions of Gen Z. They could not, but they can be able to sit down, suspend the business, discuss one individual. So when you look at the opposition, it has managed to set the agenda of the nation. The president cannot set the agenda. It is only the opposition that is setting the agenda. Again, when you look at confidence and hope, the opposition is giving Kenyans hope. There is hope in the opposition. All is not lost. When they look at the opposition, they see people that they can trust. When you look at the Gen Z, in fact, the Gen Z are the first people who came up with the idea of Matiang'i. When they started demonstrating, they said they wanted Matiang'i. And that is how Matiang'i came. And you see, Matiang'i was there, but he did not actually disclose his ambitions. Because I understand Matiang'i had even an idea of vying in 2022, but due to the respect of Raila Amolo Odinga, he had to withhold his ambitions. So, although Matiang'i could have vied because of Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, maybe he was convinced. But now, when the Gen Z came, they started mentioning the name of Fred Okengo Matiang'i, and Fred Okengo Matiang'i embraced the call and he's ready for this. So when you look at this, there is hope in the opposition. Kuna jia, penye nia pana jia, and tusipoteze matumaini. And I think the opposition has been trying to preach this gospel, the gospel of hope. And I don't know what to think, but from where I sit, the opposition is headed in the right direction. The big question is, are they going to stick together? Are they going to win this battle? Because if you ask me, they are headed to State House. Just a matter of time. In fact, what separates the opposition and State House is all the time. That is my take. Guys, always remember to like my video. Please, please. For those of you who have never subscribed, subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and please let me know what you think about the opposition. Bye-bye.